Hey everyone, welcome to the crypto data. So, looks like Bitcoin's finally back on the rise. I know the past week has been crazy for everyone, including myself, with the advent of the China ban, quote unquote, of Bitcoin, as well as JP Morgan's Jamie Dimon saying Bitcoin's a fraud, and a few other news outlets adding on to that. The price of Bitcoin just tumbled, and we saw right here that on the 15th, Bitcoin bounced at that 3,000 support level. So that's a huge level, and that showed strong support. Bounced right back up, and it's consolidating right now and hovering around the $3,700 level. So I actually have some good news for people that may still be worried about the uncertainty surrounding Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Yesterday, there was a news article that came out, and it was saying after the boss, now it's talking about JP Morgan Chase and Jamie Dimon and what he said about Bitcoin, how Bitcoin's a fraud. It said, after the boss calls Bitcoin a fraud, JP Morgan buys the dip. So I know you've heard some corporations or CEOs try to manipulate Bitcoin so that they can get in cheaper, as well as various institutions. And this is a huge example of that. So it says here, according to public records of Nordet trading logs, the two associated firms, JP Morgan Security and Morgan Stanley, bought roughly €3 million worth of XBT note shares, and that's Bitcoin note shares. It tracks Bitcoin, so it's essentially the same thing as buying Bitcoin, and saying. The statements from after the recent regulatory crackdown in China and the statements from JP Morgan senior executive Jamie Dimon talking trash about Bitcoin, his firm bought the dip on September 15th. And actually, out of all the companies like Goldman Sachs and Barclays, JP Morgan bought the most XBT notes. So right here you can see, I'll go ahead and zoom it in so it's a little bit clearer for y'all. Here, one more. Okay. So you can see here, now this means who bought the most. So Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan right here. And it says they bought the most amount of XBT shares. And you can see how much they bought, 19,000. Morgan Stanley bought 165,000. So already, I mean, this literally the same day that Jamie Dimon makes this announcement, you see his company buying all these securities out in Europe. Now, if that's not manipulation, I don't know what is. That tells you that, hey, there's actually a lot of big companies invested in Bitcoin right now, and they see it as a long-term growth, and so they're going to do whatever they can to get low prices because they know it's about to take off. So that's one of the signs where I knew that all this is just manipulation and Bitcoin is going to grow much higher in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the next article that was released today, and it actually says Japan becomes the largest Bitcoin market as traders leave China. So the China ban, what it was saying here, it was saying earlier this week the Chinese government, local authorities, and financial regulators officially requested Chinese Bitcoin exchanges and trading platforms to halt their services by the end of September. And then two of the exchanges, OKCoin and Huobi, they were granted leeway until October 30th. So because of this and what China did with Bitcoin and all the Bitcoin exchanges, everyone pretty much liquidated their assets in China and then moved it over to the Japan exchange. So it says now Japan has once again become the largest Bitcoin exchange market with over 50% market share of the global Bitcoin exchange market. 50% is huge. I mean, out of the whole world, and Japan has over half of it. I mean, that's great, because Japan is one of the countries that actually fully adopts Bitcoin. They actually have over 260,000 stores. I mentioned in my last video, one of the articles showed that Japan has over 260,000 stores that accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. So they're already in full force adopting Bitcoin, and now all the traders jumping from China over to Japan. That tells you that, hey, people are done with all of this FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and they're just tired of it, and they want to find a secure exchange with a country that actually believes in Bitcoin. So, and you can see here, there's a tweet, and I'll go ahead and show that right here. You can see Japan 51% of the Bitcoin volume by currency. USD is 29, and then China, look at that, only 6.37%. So they fell a huge amount. So China is hardly on the map anymore because everyone moved from China over to Japan or the US. So it shows you that, you know, they're really, people were affected by China. It was just the media spreading fear, and now that people have finally realized that that's all it was, they're really not going to let that affect them anymore, and they switched over to Japan. So this was a great news article. This helped Bitcoin actually keep above that $3,700 level and maintain that support, because people see that China isn't just the almighty power for Bitcoin as it was once seen. There's other exchanges, there's other countries, so they're going to take that torch and actually make it Bitcoin even better. And then there was also another part in this article that talked about how China manipulates the markets, and it says, but it seems as if traders are not willing to take any chances with the Chinese government and their unpredictable nature. So, as you know, China will sometimes, since 2014, they've actually always announced they're going to ban Bitcoin, and then they don't. And then so the market goes in violent swings because people don't know if they're actually going to ban it or not. Now, you can see here that I actually may have seen it. It's a little South Park episode. And this right here, April 25th, 2014. So this was over 3 years ago, and this is still relevant today. And it says, I sell Bitcoin at top, but we need to move market down. Say China banned Bitcoin. Nah, too old, we use it 15 times already, but it still works. Okay, I try. Hello, internets, people of China, we ban Bitcoin now. And then there's the US. China's banning Bitcoin, sell it all. So that shows you it's still relevant today. If this was published in 2014 on Reddit, I mean, that goes to show you there's been constant manipulation of this. So they mentioned actually that it's a positive that China had finally just banned Bitcoin or banned the exchanges, because now there's no more of that uncertainty. They can't use their tactics to again scare the market. So even though China says they banned it, I believe they're just waiting to so they can regulate everything. Right here it says halt their services. So I believe that they will be back in the Bitcoin game. I don't know when, but I believe they're just getting regulations set up. But either way, I mean, people seem to have forgotten about it now. Japan's taking the reins with the US and all the other countries in adoption of Bitcoin. As I mentioned in my previous video, you have Russia, you have Canada, and Japan, along with the US. Those articles came out about a month ago talking about the Chicago Board of Options Exchange looking at Bitcoin futures, and then Fidelity is also looking at Bitcoin to put as part of a retirement investments or your 401k or IRAs or any of those. So there's already big companies looking at this. So this is just another article to further solidify Bitcoin's existence and its growth in the future. So I just wanted to tell everyone to, there's Bitcoin's back on the rally again. It's looking great. Huge bounce off support. Looks like people are finally done with all this fear and uncertainty being spread by the media, and they're finally realizing Bitcoin's here to stay. So I hope I put some people at ease. And one last thing, I wanted to share one of my friends in Vancouver, Canada. He's actually a DJ. He's on SoundCloud. His name is Nineblade. If you could check him out, he's really up and coming, great DJ. He has a lot of great music, and he's just trying to get his following up. So if you could, just go to soundcloud.com/Nineblade, check him out, click on tracks, and then you can listen to all his tracks right here. And they're all really long. I mean, about an hour long, and whether you listen to them when you're at a party, house party, maybe just not really doing anything around the house, in your car, wherever. He really makes great music. He's really dedicated, and he actually goes to a lot of clubs. So if you could help him out, just give him a follow here on SoundCloud. And again, his name is Nineblade. Really appreciate it. But thanks again for watching. And I look forward to seeing Bitcoin soar in the future. And see how high we can get before the end of the year. So till next time, if you have any questions, please comment down below. If you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you want to find my Twitter, Instagram, Steemit accounts, they're all in the description box below. Thanks for watching.